really
Nice.
do I really do enjoy watching all sorts of combat sports. Like this weekend was Rough and Rowdy. Have you heard of what Rough and Rowdy is?
I've seen Rough and Rowdy in the past. Yes.
Yes, that's the barstool sports where it's like let's get two people of random locale to just punch the heck out of each other for three 1 minute rounds.
Yeah.
And that's fun because they build little characters and stuff like that. So it's kind of wrestling esque. There was a guy named Raccoon Boy that they rolled out in a garbage can and pushed him out of the garbage can, and he fell out with like a raccoon hat and stuff like that. So it's very wrestling esque, and I really enjoyed that.
I
But
I vaguely remember because I watched that several years back. Um, I remember at CrossFit had gotten one of those one time, and I was hanging out, and I just all I remember is the fights, but I was interested in like they do little backstory promos,
mhm.
like kind of thing, like trying to build up the fight, and it was kind of funny, I didn't mind it. I
There
remember
was
it being very long, like a lot of value on that pay per view, but
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say value, but yeah, there's a lot of matches. I
well,
would
that's
say
what I'm
that.
saying, like a lot of content. You're watching
Yeah.
fights, dude.
I remember there was a villain in the last couple shows that's no longer allowed back. His name, and I kid you not, was Big Dick Booty Daddy. So like me and my friends would be talking about like, oh, who do you think is gonna fight Big Dick Booty Daddy? And people are like, what kind of stuff are you watching? And it's like, oh, don't worry about it. Rough and Rowdy. It's a barstool thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but a lot of fun with that. So I had the itch this weekend to keep watching combat sports. And Ludwig, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a big streamer on YouTube. Very huge guy. Crosses with like Mr. Beast a lot and other guys. He was doing a chess boxing event, and I'm sure
Chest boxing.
chess, like
Chest.
pawn.
Chest.
No, no T.
No.
Chess, like
Chess. The game.
pawns and the game,
The board
boxing,
game.
the board game.
And so how do they how do they incorporate boxing into a chess game?
I'm glad you asked. So what they do is they have a chessboard that they put in the middle of the ring, and they give each of the competitors headphones, right? So they can't hear any of the announcers and stuff. And they play chess for like 2 minutes, right? And they've got a
Okay.
timer. So they've got a timer with like 5 minutes on it. So you make a move, hit the timer. You don't want to run out of time. So they do that for like a minute to 2 minutes, right? And after that minute to 2 minutes is up, they remove the chessboard with all the pieces and then do a boxing round.
Okay.
And they literally, these two people wail on each other. Ding, 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 ding. Back to the corners, take off the gloves, bring the chessboard back, and start playing chess.
Wow.
So
So
if
not
you're,
only do you have to focus on your mental game of chess, but then you got to get knocked in the head a few times and then try to get back into the game.
you either got to get aggressive on the board or in the ring. So like you have to play this like, okay, I'm not feeling so good. I better make an aggressive chess play. Or, like crap, like I'm gonna get checkmated pretty soon. I gotta go for the KO and try to knock this person out.
Yeah.
It's a back
So
and forth. It was free on YouTube, this event because it was a bunch of streamers. But they do have people who do this like regularly, and they're either chess people or boxing people. So it's fascinating to watch them try the other thing. So like two like grandmasters, like putting on gloves and trying to figure out punching, or two like boxers, taking it off and going like, this isn't checkers.
yeah,
Um,
they used to have that back in the day, but they called it beating the bishop.
did you go to that beating the bishop? Oh yeah.
So you can win by either knocking out your opponent or winning the chess game.
Or by so half of it's boxing and half of it's chess. So you
So
can win.
points are involved.
Yep, you can
Okay.
get points in the boxing and win by decision, or you can win in the chess by time or checkmate.
And how many rounds?
I think it's 4 to 5 rounds of each. Let me take a look here.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4 of chess, and then 3 of boxing.
And
So
then
it's not very long.
And then are there like title belts and stuff?
So with this event, there was just, like belts for the individual fights. It wasn't like the heavyweight champion or anything.
Oh, okay. So is there any weight classes then?
I think everyone did have to weigh in because it's still got to be legitimate boxing. You have to have a legitimate referee. If you knock down your opponent to 3 counts in a round, that's a TKO.
Yeah.
So it's like a real thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Have you ever seen I always see these YouTube videos of like MMA fights, but it's like 10 on 10,
Yep.
5 on 5, and there's just like 6 referees in there running around.
One night we went down the rabbit hole, and there was another one where it was like tag. Have you seen professional tag?
I have seen, yeah.
But
where the one where they're like running through a course,
right? And it was like that, but they were beating the hell out of each other.
Oh, wow.
It was the most strange thing to watch.
Combat tag,
right?
Wow.
So all these crazy ideas for fight things and stuff like that just reminded me so much of wrestling, right? Where you've got the Lion's Den match where you're bringing in the MMA fighter guy against your submission wrestler, or the cage match and stuff like that. It just made me think I've not refereed a whole lot of gimmick matches, but have you been in any gimmick matches?
I've been in my share of gimmick matches. I don't know. I was in a cage one time. I remember. I was in hair versus beard.
Oh,
where the loser got their head shaved or their beard cut off.
I was a part of that, if I remember correctly. Actually,
yeah, that was a fun time. I was in this gimmick match once where a top rope broke right off the bat.
I imagine that.
Yeah, it's called like a second ropes to top rope match.
That's got to be pretty tricky, considering probably it sounds like your finish was supposed to utilize the top rope.
Yeah. Just kind of on the fly. That happened. I don't know. I remember, you got your classic lumberjack matches. I recall in the early days, a lumberjack strap match.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like something on a pole, chair on a pole, something like that. All those fans bring the weapons or something like that.
So when you're doing those kind of matches, tell me what goes through your head. Are you excited to do something like that, or are you rather wouldn't? Give me some background on that.
I mean, yes. I mean, they're fun. I think gimmick matches can be fun. I always like, to incorporate comedy and stuff in some of my matches. But then turn it on when stuff gets serious, but you have fun starting off. But yeah, I mean, gimmick matches are fun. I think they really help get the crowd involved if done right. I mean, the lumberjack strap match, that's one you really don't want to be. I mean, because guys are on the outside with belts. And one time I saw somebody get hit with the buckle.
F that.
Buckle to the face.
Oh, jeez.
But, that's the kind of thing, you don't want to have happen. But I never got really into the gimmicky, how they used to do, I think they still do, but barbed wire type matches,
yep.
When they start doing that, breaking the fluorescent light bulbs or sheet of glass, no, thank you. Anything involving tacks, no thanks.
Well, what about this? I went and looked at your cage match uh, database of all these matches, and I see you did a taped fist match with Adrian Lynch.
Taped fist. Yep.
Taped fist. So how does
Taped
that?
fist.
Did that change your whole style that night, or was it just basically your normal match with the taped fist?
No, well, then you see like the fist tape. It was allowed, So it was a real knockdown, drag out. Stuff got real,
Stuff got real.
really real from what I recall. No, but no, those are fun matches, dude. Is you're not supposed to have a taped fist and stuff like that. So.
Right. Yeah.
But you get like those anything goes, or people get into it. They have fun.
Oh yeah. What about this chair on a pole match? Looks like you tagged with Tweak Phoenix against longtime and Adrian Lynch.
I'm sure I did. Yeah. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. I mean, you're going back like that had to have been, 18 years ago or something like that.
There was a Bush in the presidency, I think, when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a lot of gimmick matches back then.
I mean, like
a lot of fun.
I mean, right? You're having fun when you're doing those, right? Like,
oh yeah.
It's not something you want to do every week by any means.
No, but see, like storyline wise, something will build up to one of those matches, So you might have a feud going on, or a singles feud or a tag feud over like several shows, and then that builds up to a big like, oh, maybe a chair was getting involved. Well, guess what? You want to use a chair on a pole, Or you ever hear of like the Four Corners match or strap match or things like that. You mentioned earlier dog collar match. I probably did. Nothing really stands out, but I know I did a lot of those back in the day.
Do you have a favorite gimmick match watching all time? Like if you had to pick out one from back in the day, one that stood out?
I mean, I really love the hair versus beard.
Yeah,
that was fun. Just because I was always a fan of like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and he'd always like, shave somebody's head all goofy looking, and really get after it. And I always thought that was funny. So yeah, I like the hair versus hairs. I think are my favorites. Just because it's gonna grow back eventually, and but it's just funny because for like say like 20-25 minutes you just have this goofy chopped up haircut for a little while, and everybody laughs at it, and then you go get it cleaned up afterwards.
One thing that people don't know about that Brutus the Barber Beefcake, loves float tanks. Big float tank guy. He is big on those sensory deprivation tanks. So.
He's in the club, man. He's in the
club. Big fan of those.
I love those too, man. I could go for a float tank right now.
I could always go for a float tank, minus the fact that I don't, would have to shut up for quite a lengthy amount of time while I'm in it.
So have you had to ref any of these gimmick matches?
Over Halloween, I had to referee a few of them. I did a casket match, which was really interesting because we didn't have a whole lot of time to talk about the logistics. So it was a thing where because of the camera, we had to stand off to the side with the owner, who was involved in the storyline, and the wrestlers would call us over to open the casket and put it down. And I guess that there was miscommunication. They thought like we were going to be there. So they would go to do a move and call for it. And we're walking over there like, no, like you need to be there now. It's just like, calm down. You know the drill. We're going to take our time. we're going to take our sweet ass time walking over there.
So the refs had to open the casket each time.
Yep. Each time they had to call for it open, like the cage door. We had the
weird. Yeah. Cause I recall watching casket matches, like Undertaker matches, and I always felt like, did the refs open the casket each time? Or did they kind of just do it themselves?
I know they closed it. That was the big thing, was
to make it official.
Right.
To make it official at the end, yeah.
Well, no, the wrestlers, I mean, not the referees, sorry. The wrestlers would pull it down and try to get each other and stuff. I don't remember opening it, though. I always felt like they were just open. But the casket that we had didn't have a hinge on it. It was just a lid over the casket. So it created some complex situations with everything. And it was kind of warm that day. So when we went to put it on, the wrestler who was inside of it, whether it would be just temporarily, you know, like as they're fighting back or whatever, they always said, leave a big crack because there's no ventilation inside this thing. And I remember when the person who lost was inside of it, I remember going back going, crap, I've got to crack it a little bit, but I can't look like I'm letting him out. And I just like suddenly walked over yelling at the other person like, oh, you won, moved on. And I slid it back just a little bit to let him get some air in there.
Now during this casket match, did anyone light the casket on fire? Was there a burial?
There was no fire or burial. The VFW in Woodstock would not allow us to set things on fire. I guess no one really asked, but I think this one had a giant cross on it, and I think just burning a giant casket with a cross on it gives off a weird message. Is what I would say.
Yeah, you don't really. I haven't really heard of casket matches in the area until like you mentioned that one, and then all of a sudden I saw there was a bunch of them around the area that weekend or the following weekend, and crazy. And I'm like, oh, casket matches are making a comeback, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was making a comeback. There's been a lot of like cool little, things that people are bringing out and whatnot. It seems like it goes in waves. If one place does a cage match, then another place does one. If one does something on a pole, another one does something. But I will say my all-time favorite gimmick match, all-time that I've ever worked, was my very first Janesville Pro Wrestling match, main event that I believe it was the main event, that I ever refereed, and that was Rough Crossing versus Yabo the Clown in a anything goes match where Yabo just made balloon animals through his his juggling balls and stuff. That was some of the most fun because you're playing the character work with it, and as a referee you don't want to look like you're trying too hard, but with that kind of stuff you just lean into it and just have fun with it.
Oh yeah, and you got to let that stuff go because hey, clowns got gimmicks; they're fun,
right? Like he's making an inflatable hammer and bouncing it off the other guy's head while the other guy's just no-selling it, but then he pops the balloon and the guy jumps back and whatever. Like it was just so much fun, and I really enjoyed working with those guys and got a chance to work with them as a tag team recently, and they hit me with a giant hammer, and nobody knew that they were going to do that, including me.
Because you got brought back out, right?
I got brought back out, and I was just like, hey, so as I'm getting held, what's the deal here? What's he going to do? Oh, it's not that bad. He's going to hit you with the hammer. Cool. Where? Because you're looking at that hammer, and this sucker was huge. We're not talking like a little tool hammer. We're talking a comically large clown hammer.
Yeah.
And he hit me in the gut. It was, obviously, I've got a little padding there, so it didn't hurt, but ooh, what a shocker.
That thing get pulled up. It was bigger than like a Gallagher mallet, RIP,
Oh, yeah. The other thing was huge. And it was just so unexpected. So that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. That was a fun match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in a lot of gimmick matches too, like what we're doing with, our innovative hot dog and a handshake matches. I think those are, and that's one of my favorite ones right now, just because we can do so much stuff with it.
It is the excitement of the pre-show match right now. Can't wait for it to be the main event, and it's a foot long that they're wrestling for. like a very like ornate hot dog. Because I thought last time when you guys went with the battle royale where everybody got a hot dog afterwards, I'm like, how do you one up this?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hot dog main event. That's something. That's something to. Ooh, we gotta. Yeah, it's something to look forward to for sure.
You would you put the links in the shape of a belt and like hold it up?
Like like the Nathan's hot dog eating title,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep. We'll have to talk to esports the sponsor to see if they're interested in a title belt to put their hot dog on.
And we can have our own Kobayashi that's doing their own hot dog match across town.
Oh my god. What if the wrestling belt was like for the main plate, it was a plate, and so like you held it up, but then you flattened it out and put the hot dog on there and presented it like that to the winner. I'm telling you, get real clever with this.
It's a plate. That's interesting. Yeah, I'd even bring in Eater X for that one.
Who's Eater X?
I know. He's out there, dude. He's a eating competitor, but he wears like a mask and everything, or like face paint.
I think you're. Oh, okay. So it is a real person.
It's a real person. He's been on some of those food eating documentaries and stuff.
Well, the reason I ask is because you literally will just make shit up to me sometimes, and just like I'll go with it for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll look like a jackass when I go look this stuff up.
No, that never happened.
That never happened, bro.
No, but there's like Eater X is one of the guys. I watched this like documentary one time on food eating competitions, and he was one of the characters. And then when he was in one of the, the 4th of July competitions one year, but he's in the record books, man.
So at work, and this is just going to be a quick aside here because you brought up food competitions. Have you heard of the Big Texan Steak Challenge?
What is that?
So in Amarillo, Texas, they have the home of the 72-ounce steak.
Okay.
And it's a competition that they have where you get the free steak as long as you finish the meal, which is 72-ounce steak, a shrimp cocktail, baked potato, salad with a roll, butter, all next to that 72-ounce steak, cooked however you want.
It's that damn roll that gets you.
It's always the shrimp. The shrimp gets people.
Or when they always have to like drink a pitcher of soda or something.
Right. Well, and what's crazy about this place is they live stream it. So like throughout the day, they just live stream this table and people sign up, sit down and go for it, right? And for example, there are people eating right now on the live stream attempting this. Let me see if I can send you the link here. But it's crazy. And so we've talked about a work, like let's make a trip down to Amarillo, Texas, and like as coworkers, let's all sign up for this thing and like do this, right? And so we started watching this and we found this one woman who not only has completed the challenge, but she ate like 3 steaks.
Oh, wow.
Like in the hour. Like she like powered through it and she ripped it with her hands in the strips. Like didn't use a fork and knife and just went to town on it. And it was the most uncomfortable I've ever been watching somebody eat anything.
And did they get like a free t-shirt?
Well, yeah, she's a competitive eater, but you get the meal for free. And then you get like a t-shirt and stuff. And then you go on their wall of fame where you get to make like a comment. Like, you can say something like, oh, go Army, beat Navy, or I'm going vegan, or best meal ever, roll tide. Like people put like random things on there.
Yeah. The best competitive eater that I follow on YouTube is Megatoad Stoney. Have you heard of him, Matt Stoney?
No.
Oh, dude. So this dude, like, he does all kinds of competitions, like, and he'll practice. He'll do things, eat different just mounds of food like at his house. But he's actually in he was in the hot dog eating competition. I think he won one year, or he came in second or something like that. But he just eats all this food. But the best YouTube video one of the funniest ones I've seen him do is when he takes the Michael Phelps challenge of he eats as many calories as Phelps would in a day.
Jesus.
And there's I want to say 6 Monster energy drinks or something involved. And he does it all in a row. So he does breakfast, lunch, and dinner all in one setting. And the best part is he puts on a little swim cap and goggles.
Dude. So we started watching this Molly Schuler, that's who I was talking about. And the problem why we haven't attempted this is because we started watching her YouTube channel, and boy, I'm going to tell you right now, some of the stuff she eats, it's holy crap. She once ate 8 pounds of sliced cheese.
Oh yeah.
Just cheese. That's all she ate.
I don't know how they do that. If you look up some of the competitive eating competitions and stuff out there, and who has the record for what and stuff, some of the stuff is just straight up disgusting.
I can't even 200 munchkins from Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, all right, that's doable.
You're oh, I'm down. Yeah.
I would attempt that. That doesn't sound like it would destroy me afterwards. I think she ate 3 pounds of Oreos once.
Oh wow.
6 pounds of cream cheese.
Wow.
Those are gimmick matches I don't want to be a part of.
No. That's crazy, dude.
But yes. That is my food eating story.
All right, man. Now I want to go through the gimmick match archives and see what we can find.
Yeah, I kind of just want to pitch one to someone. Just be oh, it's a clown match. You have to put the red nose on your opponent, during the match. I don't know, something just fun.
Dress your opponent like a clown.
Right.
Wow. Interesting.
I'm sure there's some weird website where people watch that, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I remember one time this, showing up, we're going to have a cage match, and you just think of a regular cage. It's a little taller than the ring. And I remember going to this place and the cage being like 20 feet in the air.
Jesus.
And crazy, right? And then I was like, oh, so what's the deal with the cage match? I'm is it pinfall or, give up or what's going on? And they're like, oh, no, somebody will climb over. And I'm like, oh, looks like you're winning because I'm not climbing that.
Fuck that.
And it looked like sketchy, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not climbing over that.
So we went to a show as guests with one of my friends, and before the show, the guy, or before the main event started, which was a War Games cage, right? The guy was talking with me backstage about the cage and transporting it, and you know how I am. I'll talk with anybody about anything, and he just was really interested in telling me about it. And
wait, someone local did War Games?
Well, no, the GCW team, when they were in town during something, what was that weekend? Was it AEW? Might have been AEW weekend. GCW had a War Games cage brought up.
Okay.
It was from down in Southern Illinois. They brought it up, and the guy, real nice guy, but just was talking with me about it, right?
And they did two rings?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and they had a scaffolding next to it. It was crazy.
Nice.
It was nuts.
Nice.
But
I actually love War Games.
I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah. The match beyond.
Now, are you a roof or a non-roof guy when it comes to war games?
Um, the war games I've watched that I was a fan of back in the day, with like Horsemen and stuff, all had roofs on the cages, I believe. Yeah.
Right. They all had roofs. I was not a fan of the roofed version personally because I always felt like it limited like moves, just even suplexes and stuff. I'm not even talking top rope stuff. I always felt like they're doing different things because of it. That being said, they worked around it and stuff like that. So I'm a
Yeah.
fan of the non-roof version.
Sure, sure.
But they're going, they're telling me about it and the match before ends and I can sense he's about to ask like, "Hey, would you mind helping grab that?" I can just sense it. And so the second they go for the pinfall, he looks to his right and I'm on his left. And as he comes over to me, I go, "I got to hit the bathroom, dog. I'll be back. Hey, good luck with that." I just bolt out of there because I'm not fucking lifting these panels just because I was talking with the dude. And I came back and sure enough, they just started grabbing random like people who were backstage, like, "Hey, help carry out these panels and stuff." And I just barely got out of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not here setting up. I'm not here refereeing. I'm just here hanging out.
Yeah, yeah, no. That's but that's cool though. I like hearing about war games matches. Um yeah, I always enjoyed watching those and you ever remember, I don't know if you watched any like old like NWA where they'd have like the scaffold match above the ring and it
Mm-hmm.
was like I want to say it was like the Road Warriors versus like Midnight Express because I remember Jim
Right.
Cornette being
Cornette.
there, and then
Yep.
him getting up there and hanging from and then dropping from the scaffold and landing in the ring. Oh
Yep.
my goodness,
Yeah,
just crazy.
he hurt himself. I think that might have been Starcade 86.
Yeah, it was all. But I'm like, dude, they must have been 20 feet above the ring. I mean,
It was
it wasn't nothing like top row. It
no.
was high. It was high up there.
Yeah, he shattered his knee, is what it says here. Like
Yeah, I
legit
remember.
shattered it.
Oh, I remember watching that and just like, oh, how crazy. That was one of the craziest things I had ever seen, aside from that, Mick Foley Hell in a Cell.
Oh, I mean, that was just nuts. I just saw some stats on that match where if you look at the amount of actual strikes and moves that were done, Foley got in way more offense, but everyone just remembers the viciousness of him getting slammed. But he actually threw more punches and did more moves than Taker did.
Well, it was like he got thrown off the top into the tables,
Right?
which everyone thought he was dead. And then he ends up climbing back up to the top and then getting slammed through the top of the cage
Yep.
onto like a chair in the ring.
No, the chair was on. So the way the logistics worked was the chair was. He hit the chair on the cage. So the cage roof had a chair on it. It hit the chair, like wrapped around his body. He went down. Then chair hits him in the face when he lands, just from gravity. And those suckers were heavy. So that's what pops his mouth and puts the hole in his mouth that he tries to stick his tongue through.
Yeah, and you're just watching that going like, how much punishment can someone take?
And then he starts pulling out the tacks and gets slammed on the tacks.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was something else. That's probably the most insane thing I've ever seen.
That was insane. There's been other things I've watched where I've been more uncomfortable. There was a Samoa Joe match where it was like an X division match with Rhino, I want to say. Something where they were on like a scaffolding and it was a very thin like scaffolding and they were doing moves on that. And like just as a person who's, been around that stuff, you just think, man, you just slip a little bit and you're both fucked. Like there's no way you're gonna be able to recover from this. Like you're falling and you're hoping, but they
and
worked
even
out so cleverly.
even like you said, Samoa Joe, X Division plus Rhino, none of that makes sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it was the Elevate. Okay, no, it was Rhino.
X Division.
It was Rhino and AJ Styles up there in the first Elevation X match. That was the one I remember them watching. And it was just, they were doing so much stuff. I thought
Styles does crazy stuff too.
Yeah, and they were just nuts. I don't know. Those guys, I mean, they were great, but like, I remember watching that Elevation X match going like, what the hell?
Wow.
It was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazier. I saw one of the guys, who was that now? It was a TNA thing. It was like the only TNA highlight I've ever seen where like, I don't know if it was a top of the cage or some kind of cage match where dude like walks the top of the cage and then at the last second like Frankenstein or somebody off the top or something. It was just so crazy, dude. It was so crazy.
Well, they had their cage. I don't remember. It wasn't the Monsters Ball one, but they had a cage that like was a dome with a circle in it. And you had to leave through the circle. And I remember that was like a pain in the ass one time where it was like, I don't know how you're going to climb up there and get through that. They didn't really practice it. And so that was like a good like 4 minutes just watching the person try and figure out how to like get out of it. I remember they did that one.
I don't know if you'd consider this gimmick match, but I was always a fan of that 6-sided ring.
I liked it. I wish that it got adopted.
Yeah.
At more places. I liked the idea of it. You know, you can do a 3-way tag and it makes sense spacing wise, you know. It gives you more options. I think the turnbuckles are probably easier to take, right? Because you have a lot more room to work with. And you got to think that those ropes are tighter because there's less space between the turnbuckles.
Yeah, I always thought that was a cool concept. I was always sad when they got rid of that, but I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, I was a fan. I wish that there were more places that did it locally.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if you can still buy one.
I think you can.
That'd be kind of cool.
What is the name of that place? But that would be, yeah. That would be. I mean, I don't know. I would want to invest in a regular ring before buying a 6-sided.
No, like all the local promotions should just go in on a 6-sided, and then once a year everybody can use it. for like a special event.
So they range from $5,000 to $6,000 depending on how big you want it.
Wow, it's not bad.
So we'll get 12 promotions. Everyone gets it 1 month out of the year.
I want the low boy bar, the bar ring.
That's what I'm.
6-sided bar ring.
6-sided bar ring.
Yeah. Look at me, I'm on. Yeah. Look at me, I'm on. Yeah. Look at me. Can't stop. Look at me, I'm on. 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 Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. Look at me, I'm on. 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 Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. Can't stop, keep going. OMG, I don't get pressed. Look at me. I've been on set since 17. I've been on set, unsettling. I'm going numb, amphetamine. I don't do drugs, I'm not a fiend. Push to the edge, no boundary. About 2 or 3 in these leather jeans. Look at me, flex. Tat in my flesh. Never end, dead. Now I'm up, next. Here for those checks. Plenty flows, wet. Look at me, I'm on. Look at me, I'm next. Look at me, I'm on. touchdown end zone, home run Barry Bonds, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, touchdown end zone, home run Barry Bonds, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, 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 can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, 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 can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going. Tonight I come alive, you been a dud, you been a vibe, you been in hot and you been inside, I'm like a farmer, I'm outside, don't share locations, I'm on the grind, I do my dance, hammer time, 1, 2, 2 step, 1, 2, 2 checks, long nights I was cold, I'm the one before the bag, money come and see the flow, what I show is what I own, freeze, photos, please, no photos, different record but it's relevant, show the L's like I show the wins, look at me, I'm on, touchdown end zone, home run Barry Bonds, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, touchdown end zone, home run Barry Bonds, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, 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 can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, can't stop, keep going, look at me, I'm on, look at me, I'm on, look at me, I'm on.